This is the second video in a series on using the one-volume version of Liturgy of the Hours called Christian Prayer. In these slides, we will cover the basic layout of the book and how to set things up so that you can more easily move from one section to another as you pray the office. There are a lot of pages in these books. My current edition has 2,080 pages. I have a first edition that has only 1,758 pages, but still, it's a lot. If you have the 4-volume set, it's that times 4. It can be hard to navigate. I'm going to use pictures of my book in these slides. Your book may look exactly the same, or it may even have different page numbers. That's okay. The first thing we're going to look at is different editions, and then we'll sort out main sections of the book. When the book was first released, it was an English translation of the 4-volume set. I'm having trouble finding the exact history, but I believe that this was the first English office for the church, with the 4-volume version coming later. I have an English language office with readings that are different from the books that we have now, both the 1-volume and the 4-volume. So the readings were totally different at one point. I've also heard that Christian Prayer was originally just the approved English text for clergy in the Archdiocese of New York, which was later taken up by other parts of the English-speaking world just out of convenience. The Bible readings in the daily office in Christian Prayer are actually longer than the Bible readings in the 4-volume set. So clearly editing happened after Christian Prayer came out. Regardless of your edition, all are still approved for use. Your pages may vary, but the words are fine. So TLDR, you do not need to rush out and buy a new book to have the approved office of the church. There are only 3 things that are actually different in various editions. The layout, as each editor made choices on how the text looks. My first edition looks like Good News for Modern Man Bibles, if you remember those in the 70s. It has some really strange illustrations. The calendar changes with each edition, of course. Newer editions have more saints added to them as the calendar of the church changes. And the hymns. The hymns change, but these are only suggestions. Some of my books have poetry where the hymn should be. It's okay. These are only suggestions. The book you have, as long as it's called Christian Prayer, is fine. Now, turn to the table of contents. There are 8 main sections, but these are not marked as I'm about to describe them in this layout. The first is the introductory material. This is any rules, the calendar, any tables that might be there. This is all introductory material. Then you'll come to a section called Propers of the Season, together with propers for special Sundays and feasts. So Advent, Lent, and Eastertide are listed here, and also Trinity Sunday, Christ the King, for example, Corpus Christi. And then is the ordinary. Then you'll see the Psalter, which is the 4-week Psalter. The next section is Propers of the Saints, which is the church's calendar expanded with liturgical material. The next section is Commons of the Saints, and then the Office of the Dead. I know your book has a lot of things after that, but everything after that is extra content. It's got hymns, if your book has them, some Bible readings, and maybe some non-biblical readings, the Psalms for the Office of Readings. It's all extra. Now, I've already started using jargon, so I need to explain these 3 terms for you: the ordinary, and the common, and the proper. The ordinary is all the parts of the office that do not change. It's useful to read through the section in your book called the ordinary. Read it first. It won't make much sense until you start to understand how all the components fit together, but this is the basic framework for the office. Commons are things that are shared by a class of feasts. For example, all feasts of the Virgin Mary are basically the same with some minor modifications. So all of that sameness is called the common of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Propers are specific things for specific feasts. Some feasts have only a couple of things proper, a prayer and an antiphon. Some feasts have everything proper, like Christ the King even has its own psalms. And that brings us to the Psalter. The Psalms and the Canticles are the very core of the office, and they are also dead center in the breviary. My edition of Christian Prayer has all of these pages outlined in red so that they're easy to find. If you know where you are in the 4-week Psalter, you know literally all you need to know to get the rest of the office put together for today. The Psalter in Christian Prayer includes the Psalms for morning, evening, daytime, and night prayers, and the Psalms for the office of readings are in the back of the book. When you're opening the book to say an office for today, you need to ask the following questions. At this point, you won't know the answers. That's okay. We'll get to them. You need to know the date. And is today a feast? As a sub-question to this, you will want to know, is today in Advent, Lent, or Eastertide, anytime up till Trinity Sunday? Which week of the 4-week Psalter is it right now? What day of that week is it? If today is Sunday or Saturday night, you'll want to know what Sunday it is. Knowing these 4 points, and again, we'll cover them as we go, will tell you how to say the office for today. The office is very easily managed if you read. When you say out loud the things in black and do the things printed in red, the instructions are built right into the book. So just read and do what it says. That said, there are a lot of choices up to you to make if you are alone or if you're planning to lead a service for a group. For example, you can pick any hymn you want. If your book has suggested hymns for a given service, they are only suggestions. If you're leading, you'll want to pick a hymn that you know how to sing so that you can lead others. But this is also a chance for you to learn more hymns. First, as I mentioned before, go read the ordinary. This will tell you the parts that do not change in each office. Generally, it's the opening, the gospel canticle, and the closing. This section, the ordinary, has the texts for each of these. In the following 2 slides, I'm going to show you some outlines for the offices, and if you know how each will flow, morning prayer, evening prayer, and night prayer, you'll be ready to set up your book and flip pages like a pro while you pray. Try to say that 10 times fast. So here's what the offices look like. This will actually make more sense if you pause the slide right now and go read the ordinary. You can see the offices have common elements in their layouts. Again, pause and read the ordinary to make sense of this outline. The most common question newbies ask of people who are praying the office is, how should I set up my ribbons? There are no rules about this, there are only bookmarks. They make it easy, like all bookmarks, to remember where you left off. And ideally, you shouldn't need to change the ribbons every time you open the book. There are a few ribbons, so I'm going to offer suggestions for general locations for them. But again, you should set your book up in a way that makes sense for you. For me, I've discovered that in addition to ribbon markers, I use sticky tabs and 2 thin paper bookmarks. The sticky tabs should be the firm plastic kind, like those that are shown on the left. There are other brands available. And the paper bookmarks should be no more than 1 inch wide. I found that they make the pages stick open, so actually 1/2 inch wide or 1/4 inch wide is good. Place the first bookmark on midday prayer for today. You'll find this in the 4-week Psalter, but there's only 1 week of midday prayers, so you don't have to figure that out first. Just find today. And the other is a floater that you can place anywhere you want as you need it. For me, it's most often in the section called Office of Readings. It's also a good way to mark today's hymn after you've picked it. Now, those tabs, I use those tabs to go to pages that I always go to, so that I don't need to use ribbons to mark a page that I always need. If your breviary has a section of hymns, first, put the tab there. Always place your tab on the right side. It actually makes it easier if you're opening books if it's not on the left side of an open page, but on the right side. So put your first tab on the right side of the first page of hymns. And then find where the invitatory psalm is. This is Psalm 95, and it will be located in the ordinary for morning prayer. Again, place it on the right-hand side of the open page. Place 1 in the ordinary where the Benedictus is. This is also in morning prayer. And then place 1 in the ordinary for evening prayer where the Magnificat is. The final tab goes on the page where the Psalms for Sunday of the first week begin. These are the Psalms that are used for all feasts, or most feasts rather, but all solemnities, and you will constantly need to go back here. So again, just to prevent needing a ribbon to mark this page, put a tab here. Now, find last Sunday. You don't need next Sunday yet. You want last Sunday. So whatever it is, the 23rd Sunday was last week, or the 3rd Sunday of Lent was last week, put your ribbon there. The listing for Sunday will tell you which week of the Psalter it is. In the image to the left, where I'm marking the 23rd Sunday, it says Psalter week 3, just there. And the next Sunday is also here, so it says 24th Sunday, Psalter week 4. If it is Lent, Easter, or Advent, while you're setting up your book, these seasons also have weekdays listed in the propers for the season. So you'll want to find the Sunday and then find the weekday that you're currently on. So Wednesday of the 3rd week of Lent, for example. Once you've found which week of the Psalter it is, then go to that week of the Psalter and find today. So if, as I noted before, it's the 3rd week of the 4-week Psalter, you will want to find Tuesday of the 3rd week. And if you're getting ready for morning or evening prayer, that's the one that you want. That will be ready the next time you open the book, and as you move forward, you just move the ribbon with you as you move through the Psalter. Everything will stay easy to navigate. Now, find night prayer for today. There are only 7-day options for night prayer. It's not a weekly change, so just go find the night prayer for whatever today is and put ribbon number 3 there. Ribbons number 4 and 5. Go to the calendar section or the propers and find today's date or the date next to come. Put ribbon 4 there. If it's a memorial or a feast, it will be clear about which common to use by listing a page number. In the sample image on the left, St. Peter Claver is marked as Common of Pastors or Common of Holy Men, and there are page numbers there. There are two, so as leader or as someone praying alone, it's a choice that you can make between those two options. For this sample, I selected pastors. So go into the Commons section and find the page that's marked and put ribbon 5 there. So this is now set up for the next feast that you're going to do, even if it's not today. That's it. You're ready. You should have a book with 4 or possibly 5 plastic tabs and 5 ribbons placed, as well as 2 bookmarks. You're ready for the next film in the series, where we will learn how to pray night prayer. And that doesn't need any of the tabs or ribbons. Well, it does need the 1 ribbon you placed on night prayer. And then in 2 films following, there will be evening prayer and morning prayer. Of your charity, please pray for me.